Welcome back to Cardinal Insider. I'm Russell Tanzillo. The new trend for college students is the study abroad experience. Join me now to talk about it is Kimberly Larson, Director of Study Abroad. Welcome back to Cardinal Insider. I'm Russell Tanzillo. The new trend for college students is the study abroad experience. Join me now to talk about it is Kimberly Larson, Director of Study Abroad, Miguel Pergamon, and Teresita Gil. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Kimberly, let's start. Why is it important for students to study abroad and get an abroad experience?
I don't know how much time we have, but I have a lot of reasons for it. I mean, first of all, academically, it's really nice to learn a topic from a different perspective, from a professor in another country, to have the feedback from other students in your class that are from that country. So academically, it just teaches a different perspective. A lot of learning abroad takes place outside of the classroom, obviously, and I think there's a lot of transferable skills that students learn. So, they tend to come back more mature, more independent, able to deal with ambiguity, flexible, adaptable. I mean, the list goes on. And just usually, study abroad teaches tolerance and just another way of thinking, good cross-cultural communication skills, the ability to deal with people that are different than yourself, which is a really good quality to have. And not just in the classroom, but afterwards, when you're looking for a job or going to grad school, those are things that employers and people look for. And study abroad helps to sort of instill that in young people.
Now, Teresita, I know you went to Brazil.
Yep.
And what kind of sparked your interest in Brazil, and what experiences did you really take from that study abroad?
For me, there was never a doubt in my mind that I wanted to study abroad because it was something from an early age that I was interested in learning a foreign language, and to learn a foreign language, I felt that I had to go study abroad because I'd taken classes in high school, but it's not the same thing. And Brazil, I've always had an interest in South America. I lived in Mexico for a while when I was younger, and Brazil just seems so different from South America, especially the language aspect. And I decided to go to Brazil, and definitely the major reason why I decided to study abroad was the language aspect, definitely.
Okay. And then, Miguel, you're from Spain, correct?
Yes.
So
Half Spanish, half Salvadorian.
Okay, that's cool. So, yeah, that's awesome. And then, what made you really want to come to America and experience, life in America? It's almost us, we want to go out. It's cool perspective coming into America. So what made you want to come here?
I think it all comes back to the melting pot, and definitely experienced that here in the U.S. I've been able to travel a lot here, so I've been to New York or Los Angeles, and they're just so different from each other.
Yeah.
And then Chicago is a world in its own, and on campus, for example, just being able to dine with someone who's from Mongolia and then play basketball at night with someone from Egypt, it's a very interesting way of living, and I think I've experienced that here. In Europe, it's more like the Germans are their own, the Spanish are their own, so it's awesome how everyone just mixes, and I love that blend.
That's cool.
That's one of the things that made me come here.
Now, Kimberly, what are some opportunities, especially at North Central? If you could, a quick thought, what are the top 5 study abroad programs at North Central?
It changes every year because students sort of land in different places. We had a really large presence in England last year, but this year we have students, going to Chile and Singapore and India for the first time in a long time. So we have 45 plus programs for the reason that we want a student of any major, of any budget, whatever your personal, comfort level is, whatever you're trying to learn a certain language or immerse yourself in a certain culture, we want to have those opportunities. So the idea is to sort of give students a really good options to go abroad. So when a student comes in to meet with me and they give me some of their parameters or all the things, I can give them 4 or 5 places that they can kind of take home and think about, as opposed to saying, oh, well, you really can't go abroad because this is your major or whatever. But, there's been long-standing programs that have been popular. England's always popular, Ireland's always popular, Japan is always popular for a variety of reasons. So those are some of the long-standing ones that are always popular.
And Teresita, I know you went to Brazil. what was one experience that you believe, really helped you understand their culture when you were there? I know you said you wanted to go there to learn the language, just immerse yourself in it. But what was one experience that you kind of really can take with you?
I think the language was just such a big part for me because I remember arriving and I didn't speak all that well. And I was just so intimidated and so self-conscious with my language level. And I used to like mumble a lot at first. But then I just learned that it was all about, being confident with yourself. And if you speak louder and just, feel confident what you're saying, people understand you better. So I think that's something that I definitely took away with me, just to be a lot more louder and be a lot more confident with myself, whether I'm speaking in English, Spanish, or Portuguese. And it's great when I, like here in the States, if I find someone that speaks Portuguese or that's Brazilian, it's just awesome to be able to communicate with them. And, it's like your instant best friends almost. It's really cool.
That's cool. And then Miguel, you're coming from Spain. And so did you know any English coming here? And just in general, how is school different from here at North Central, Naperville, compared to where you're from in Spain?
Well, I think my English was a little bit more British in the written sense.
Okay.
I've lost all the U's now. I knew English before coming here. It's definitely helped, like Teresita was saying. You're hearing English all the time. Sometimes someone might open the door and I'll be gracias, but it's like, wait, sorry, thank you. But it really helps with the language, like 100%. That's one of the best things of coming here, and it really makes me a better candidate for a job if I decide to go home or wherever I go. And as she was saying, as Kimberly was saying, it looks really good in my transcripts too. So.
That's good. And then, you said you visited New York, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Just curiosity, what's been your favorite place in the U.S. so far that you've kind of fallen in love with as far as like a city or a place, a region?
I would definitely go with Los Angeles.
Okay.
I think there's so much to do there. Not that there's not in New York, but I really like LA.
Okay.
I have friends there too, so I think that made it a little bit of different. They took me out to places, and just the whole Hollywood experience, we watch the movies and then we see all the places where they filmed that, and it's just like, wow, like we don't really see that often at home. So
that's cool.
It's really good, yeah.
And then Teresita, do you still keep in contact with people from Brazil that you met, friends?
Yeah, I do. Just last night I was talking to people there, and they're always asking me, like, when am I going to go back? And I definitely want to go back someday, I don't know, sooner rather than later. But yeah, I definitely do keep in contact with people.
And then Kimberly, when you were in school, did you happen to study abroad anywhere?
Oh yes, that's what sort of started the whole ball rolling for me. I studied abroad in Sweden as an undergraduate student,
cool.
my first semester of my senior year, and then I went to graduate school, and then after graduate school I went and worked abroad. So I worked in Sweden for 3.5 years at the American Embassy in Stockholm, and then I worked in Japan for 3.5 years, and then I backpacked around the world for 1.5 years.
Wow.
And that whole experience all started when I just said, hey, maybe I'll study abroad. When somebody came to my class and started talking about it, I was like, oh, and then I did it. And there led the whole progression of it, and then that's why I do what I do, because I think it's significant, and I think it's an important experience for all college students to have.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming out and sharing your experiences. You're still going through the experience, which is very cool. So I want to again thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's very helpful.
Thank you.
So we want to thank all of our guests today from sharing their insider perspective of North Central life. Many thanks to our guests and viewers today. I'm Russell Tenzillo, and thank you for tuning in to Cardinal Insider.